and welcome to Santa Californica. Jack and I pushed off real early this morning, making our way over to Catalina Island. It's been pretty bumpy with some swells, but we're making a slow crawl over. And right now we're pointed at White's Landing, and we're going to anchor at Moonstone Cove. It's one of our favorite places in that anchorage, and yeah, really looking forward to a pretty short weekend. We're going to leave and come back the next morning. But yeah, White's Landing is a really interesting place. There's a lot of really cool rare plants all in that area, so it's a good place to see it on the island. So it goes in way far up a road, and so there's some hiking trails, so hopefully we can get a good amount of it explored. So yeah, really excited for this one, and we'll go see what we can find. All right, we did it. We are on the hook at Moonstone Cove in the White's Landing complex here at White's Landing. It's one of our favorite spots to anchor within the complex, but right now we're on a single hook at about just shy of 20 feet and of water, and we have 5 scope out. So we're gonna sit here, Jack and I, both eager to go ashore, but once that anchor watch is done, which we do for about an hour, then we'll row ashore and go exploring. You can see right behind me, this little promontory point is just peppered with this yellow blooms just all along it, and that's that giant Coreopsis I've been talking about. That's usually sticks through the dry season, and right now in spring they just come alive in full display, so I can't wait to go see that. Come on, Bubba. This will be fun. Great weekend coming ahead. All right, anchor watch is up. We're sitting pretty. We have the kayak all inflated, and we're ready to go ashore. Come on, Bubba. Come on, Bubba. All right, ready, Bubba? Let's go. All right, Jack and I made it ashore. One thing I wanted to show everyone is that I have this waterproof case, and I keep my island hiking boots. And what I mean by that is that these are the only hiking boots that I have for here on the island. So I got them new, and I keep them in this case, and I only hike with them on the island. That way I know that all the plants and seeds that may stick to the boots are from here on the island. I'm not bringing anything from the mainland, any weed seeds or invasive species on these shoes. They're only here for the island. And I also like this case because it keeps my hiking boots dry as I row ashore. So really cool thing. But to think about that, about bringing introduced species of plants and seeds that may get on your shoes as you come here hiking on Catalina. Oh man, this is such a cool flower. So this is a type of bulb called Catalina mariposa lily, or Calochortus catalina, and it is just so gorgeous. It's got this white flower with little pinks and purple in it, and then it has these a little bit of yellow hairs and attractive markings for pollinators to come in and attract them to the male and female parts of the plant. This is a bulb. So down below, it has a bulb-like or real corm storage unit where it has all the energy of the plant pulling up roots, and then these come up just in springtime with this beautiful flower. Really cool plant. So you see these flowers a lot on the mainland, but they're also here on Catalina, and this is a plant that's really showy in coastal sage scrub. So that's what this community is right here. You see a lot of sage elsewhere behind me, but you also have this plant, which is Encelia californica. I love those plants that have our boat name, and this was actually one of the flowers that made me think of naming the boat Californica. But it's also called coast sunflower, and it just, this time of year, just when it's not in the drought points of the year, it puts out a lot of these yellow blooms. So we also saw a lot of the giant coreopsis, which is actually a succulent, and occurs more on coastal bluffs. This is on coastal sage scrub, and what you'll see with a lot of these yellow flowers. You can see it has nice green leaves, and it's not a succulent, it's just a herbaceous perennial, and with lots of these sunflower-like flowers. So this is another really cool plant. So this is woolly paintbrush, or Castilleja excerta, and it's actually really cool. So you see that it's here mixed in with this California sagebrush, or Artemisia californica. And this paintbrush, or this Castilleja, is actually a hemiparasite. So it's actually a parasite that's parasite onto the roots of another plant, sometimes grasses, but right now you see it here on this sagebrush here. It's called hemiparasite, I believe, because it still, you can see, has leaves. So it's still able to photosynthesize and get sunlight and capture that and use it for its own energy, but it is pulling resources from this Artemisia right here. But you can tell it's not really doing any damage to the Artemisia. It's doing great, it's all fine, but it's just part of this coastal sage scrub habitat. So I talked about these trees that are all in bloom right now in a video that I did at Willow Cove, but there's a cool little grove of them, and they're all just totally in bloom right now. And so it's kind of a taller tree shrub. Here on the island it can be more of a tree, but this is blue elderberry, or Sambucus nigra subspecies caerulea. It used to be Sambucus mexicana, but now it's this whole long thing. But blue elderberry, and it does occur on the mainland, but it's also here on Catalina Island, and it gets much taller, it seems, here. So it's part of the, maybe part of that island gigantism phenomenon. So you can see it's putting out tons of flowers on those umbels, which are great for pollinators. It's a real important nectar source, and then those, as they're pollinated, then it will go to a berry, which is real important for a lot of the fruit-eating birds around here. So, really cool plant. Sambucus mexicana, or Sambucus nigra subspecies caerulea, also known as blue elderberry. This is cool. There's a lot of the bulbs out right now in the spring wildflower blooms. So this one right here, this purplish blue color, this is called blue dix, or Dichelostemma capitatum. And again, it's another bulb that's just a little storage parts of the plant that stay dormant most of the year, but right now in spring it uses a lot of that stored energy and puts out all these flowers, and it's just excellent for native pollinators, but it's great to see them this time of year. So I've talked about the Catalina Island cherry in a couple different videos. One where we go to Cherry Cove, where there's a whole grove of them. But here it is in bloom. So previously I've shown just the actual cherry, but in the springtime it has these spikes of a whole bunch of different flowers on it. But you can see it's just another excellent nectar source that, once pollinated, will produce an edible berry, an edible fruit for foraging birds. Really cool plant. Oh man, this is gorgeous. So unlike Eschscholzia californica, or the California poppy, which is our state flower here in California, and also the logo for SV californica, But here on the island, we also have Eschscholzia ramosa, which is the island poppy, which is really cool, and it's just all in bloom along this hillside. You can see it's more of a yellow color, although there is some orange down in the flower. Occurs here on the island, here on Catalina. This is the island poppy, or Eschscholzia ramosa. Oh man, is my heart racing. We just walked right past a rattlesnake, and I think we spooked it just as much as it spooked us, and it started rattling and let us know to stay away, and we did. But to be mindful, there are rattlesnakes here on the island. Just leave them be, and watch where you step, and just be mindful that there are rattlesnakes here on the island. They're a very important part of the ecosystem. They're doing a big part to help keep the rodent population down, which is a problem here on the island. So yeah, we were lucky enough to see one. They're actually really cool, so see if we can get it on film. All right, good morning from White's Landing. Weather really picked up right now. It's a little windy and overcast. Jack and I had a nice night, a little bumpy, but we had the rocker stopper. But we're rowing ashore now, and Jack can do his biz, but I really want to check out this giant coreopsis, so we'll see what we can, see if we can get close enough to it. Bye-bye. Only in Catalina are you going to find a giant bison turd next to your boat on the beach. So this coastal bluff is really cool. It's got a lot of good plants on it. Really part of that cactus maritime succulent scrub. And you can see there's a lot of that cactus, Opuntia littoralis, a lot of the Dudleya, the Catalina Island live forever, the Dudleya virens, subspecies Hassii. But we're gonna hike up and around and to the sunnier side of this bluff to go find the giant coreopsis. What an incredible plant. So this is the giant coreopsis, or Leptocene gigantea, used to be Coreopsis gigantea. But this is a perfect example of one, a succulent that stores nutrients and water all in its succulent stems and other parts of its anatomy, but also a plant that exhibits drought deciduousness. So during the dry, hot months of the summer, this plant will be completely dormant and just be that kind of sticks like we saw in that video I did on the Little Harbor in the backside of Catalina during more drier periods. Right before the rains, now that it's gotten the rains and it's in this cooler season as we're coming into spring now, this plant can just use all that energy and nutrients within the stems and push out a big display of leaves and blooms. This thing is incredibly in bloom right now. It's a prime example of a succulent maritime plant, as well as this type of environment, and I think it's just an iconic plant for the Channel Islands, although it does occur on Palos Verdes and around Malibu. This is all over the Channel Islands as well. It's a great plant. I love it. You can see it's all just peppered all along the hillsides here, right in the sunnier parts. You can see californica. It's anchored just right off there. Man, this is the life. All right, Jack and I just hauled up anchor, and thank you all for joining us for our exploration of White's Landing. We saw a lot of really cool things. This is a really awesome place, and so yeah, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and share the videos with anyone you think might enjoy them, and hit that little bell to be notified when more videos come, because certainly more videos are to come, and we're gonna have a lot of explorations planned in the future. So until next time, Jack and I bear you fair winds, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, Jack.